I mean, if you're trying to do like rolled up parchment, I would probably do something along the lines of starting off with a helix. Let me take the radius down. We can do that soft select stuff. I really don't need like a lot. I don't need to do like an inflation or anything like that because I really just need like one edge loop basically. Here's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my pivot here and just snap it to the grid and just scale it in like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna grab like, yeah, I'm just gonna grab like one face here, turn off my soft select so you can see what I'm grabbing. I'm grabbing one face, hold shift, it selects the inverse, something like that. And then I can grab these guys and just flatten it just by using scale. I should be able to do like an extrusion off of this to get like a nice rolled up kind of parchment kind of shape.
I will definitely need to experiment with that because I didn't know those commands existed.
Scaling?
Scaling? What is this? It's magic.
Yeah, I'm using scaling.
The inverse and soft selection tools. I haven't
used.
Oh,
yeah. If you guys are, if you guys have something selected, you know, if I want to select some of these faces here, but I just want to leave them out, you just hold shift and, you know, it'll select the inverse of what's happening there. But yeah, soft select is pretty nice too. Holding B will increase the softness of that effect. Really good for organic stuff, right? This guy is really large, so it's effing with my camera right now.
What was the command prompt? I'm gonna jot a little cheat sheet down.
For soft select?
Yes.
B. Holding the B key is your brush. So holding B, you'll see, I don't know if it's working right now or not.
Is it the same for Mac? Well, you're on a Mac, I guess.
Yeah, I am on a Mac. Holding B, you'll get something like this. And you can click, you hold B and you click and drag, and it adjusts your brush size.
Okay.
So this is the same.
The reverse.
It might be really large. Like your brush might be all the way out here. So you may need to do a little bit just till you get that brush size, but then you can hold B. You have to just have one thing selected, and you have to be in soft select mode. By just hitting B one time will turn you on and off of soft select.
Okay. The quick hotkey to select the inverse of what you selected, what was that again?
It was just shift. Like if I have something selected, I'm just holding shift again. I keep holding shift and I just do a marquee select and it's gonna grab the opposite.
Okay.
So if I come through here and just hold shift and click on things, it's going to undo my shift. You guys can also use control, which is deselecting things. So if I only wanted to select this stuff up on top here, I could hold control down here and select this, and it should, sorry, that was command. I think I held command. Whoa, crap. I'll make you guys sick here.
There's enough input lag that it just looks like a slideshow. We're okay.
So if I select my whole model here, okay, and then hold control and select, it'll deselect all of the stuff that's in my marquee and this stuff stays selected.
Oh, okay. I was overthinking it for the actual, when you first did it to get the spiral shape itself. That's what I was.
Oh yeah, I mean that right there, I just did a soft select and I just scaled it inwards.
Okay.
You'll see how this stuff is. I mean, I shouldn't have used the thickness because you see how it's getting thinner here. It probably would have been better for me to select an edge and just extrude off of an edge. That way I can make my own thickness afterwards. So, you know, in that situation, I could grab this edge loop here and extrude just the edges up. Where's my... my stuff here? It's not letting me do it now. Just delete this stuff. Go back down to the basics down here. Grab that edge. Extrude the edge. Why isn't it letting me? I think my pivot is reset, or you know, there we go. Just hit the reset button. Hitting F will center me in. But now that I have that extrusion set up, now I'm only extruding, you know, like one side of this paper. So I could now select the whole thing, deselect this guy, and delete the bottoms. And now I could do a whole extrusion on all of this. Sorry, I have like 36 divisions here, so that's probably another bad thing. Now I look at my paper though, since I did a full extrusion on everything, now it has the same width on it though, right? It's not going inwards any. I just used that one edge loop that I scaled in to make the first shape that I extruded off of.
Okay, that's gonna make that a lot easier. Thank you, sir.
No problem. You guys can use some do some multi-cutting, do some little ninja slices in here to put some edge loops in.
Then squish and
Yeah, and then you can
stretch.
just squeeze it. You can just squeeze it in a little bit after that. Kind of do your soft select. Kind of squeeze it inwards. That's a little. Go a little bit bigger with it, I guess.
Okay, that's actually exactly what I was kind of thinking of when I was thinking to add in like indents and everything.
Yeah.
I'm not good with words.
Yes. Add geometry for stuff that you want. You know, if you want this page to be a little bit more tattered, you know, just take some geometry in and kind of do little tatters in it. You could do something like that. You can. I showed you this multi-cut already. It's like a slice tool. If you guys aren't selecting any geometry, you can drag a line across it and it'll put an edge loop there. The multi-cut tool. So I could do something like this. Do like a soft select here. This is all getting recorded, so you guys can watch this too, right? You don't really have to take notes. D
I'm
and
bad
V.
with shortcuts, so I needed to at least jot those down. But...
I did D and V to snap to this vertice, and I can do like a little rotate and just kind of flare that edge out. You know, you kind of get like the flared out edges. Nice little organic look. Not really taking up a lot of geometry. It is intersecting quite a bit though, so that might need to get cleaned up a little bit. Just kind of come in here and reset my pivots there. Okay, there's some n-gons in here too. You know, you just poke the faces, just poke them, I guess, or something. You can do triangulate too is another one. You know, triangulate the shapes in there, just so that it triangulates the right way. So when I soften this guy out, you know, I'm not getting some nasty stuff in there. And if this is all that we see poking out of this thing, once again, you know, if we only see like this much coming out of it, grab this edge loop and detach it, and then just grab all those faces and delete them, because we don't need all that in there. We're just gonna have a couple of these guys like duplicated around in here. Do some squashing and stretching to kind of get some different shapes in here.
Another rotate here, another rotate there.
Rotate, yeah.
So if I've got a golf bag style, but it's a fairly open top, that's when I would actually have it go down farther in, right? I'd have more geometry.
No, I would do a facade. Okay, so, I said this the other day, you're probably gonna have some kind of pipe set up. Let's change the radius of this guy, or thickness. Change up the thickness of it. kind of poke it around in there. So let's say that my bag is doing something like this, okay? You can leave this stuff modeled in, but what I would do, if you have anything really long that you're getting like some big gaps, this is how I would approach it. I would do that long hallway effect first, where you guys, if you've seen obviously like optical illusions, do that long hallway effect where you taper it in and make it look longer than it actually is. Right? A little bit of that, and then close that detail off. I'm just gonna fill the hole, and I'll probably just poke it too. Just grab and come in here and poke it, just so I have some good geometry in there. And that's really all I need. You know, these guys probably need to be longer. So I'll just grab those vertices and send them down a little bit further till they intersect. But this down here is just going to be like this black hole. It's just going to be like this black hole of texture information where we just assume that there's more going on in there, but it's so heavy in shadow that we just get this little sushi roll kind of thing going. Hopefully you have enough parchment in here to kind of plug up that, but yeah, it's going to be in heavy shadow, and you don't have to model everything inside of there, basically. It saves you a lot of UV space, truthfully.
Okay. All right. That's exactly what I needed. Thank you very much, sir.
No problem. My pleasure. My pleasure. Thankfully, you guys are not coding. Yeah, that's nice. What method is okay for high res? Plugging the holes? I want you guys to plug the holes for the high res too. Yeah. If you have any long holes, definitely plug them up. You got the button figured out. Awesome. Awesome stuff, guys. But yeah, I don't want you to go long with those. If you make the high res nice and tight in here, it'll bake a lot of AO in here too, and that'll kind of keep a lot of the shining from happening in there, and it'll just be like this dark hole that happens naturally. But yeah, if you guys are modeling like a rifle or a barrel or something that has a really long length to it, just try to shorten it up. You can do that little tunnel effect to make it look like it's actually longer than it actually is, and just plug that hole up because we don't need to see in there. You're allowed to intersect and do these facades that we call them, because it's just a fake little illusion that we get there. If you guys do any tapering with your paper, you know, you might be able to pinch the paper off and do the same thing too. Let me see. I don't know if I could do something like that right now. Let me isolate this guy out. We definitely don't need this. Oh, no, there's nothing there. Okay, so I could... Yeah, that's grabbing the whole edge loop though. I only want the interior, so I'm just gonna grab this to this, and that's only gonna be the interior of my model. And if I taper it in, it's kind of closing that hole off and doing that same thing. So yeah, the paper looks nice and thin out here, but if we look down here, it looks nice and long, even though I've pinched it in the middle there. I might even be able to bring it up a little bit so you can see what's happening. I'm just pinching it. It looks nice and long, and we get that nice long hallway effect there. But yeah, it's not really long. Nice optical illusion, right? Squeeze it tight, hold it tightly. Hold me tightly, tiny dancer. That was for you guys. But I'm glad that button makes more sense to you now. Just like, yeah, treat those separately. Not everything has to bake together. You guys actually want those split up apart, because if you have like your button put with your floating geometry, then your hole is going to bake onto your little button shape, and you probably don't want that. You probably don't want like any AO of floating stuff happening in there. Split that stuff up. All right, we're feeling good. Let's isolate there. Isolate's pretty nice too. If you guys click on something and hit Command 1, that's your little isolation box there. So you can just, you know, only look at that one thing at a time. If you guys want to adjust pivots on things, you know, if I wanted to move this face along its face normal, you guys can hold D and you can actually click on shape. So I can click on that face and now my orient is fixed on that face and I can move it along its own axis. Same thing with edges too, right? Like this isn't lined up right now. So if I move it, it's going diagonal. Hold D and click on that edge. Or I would probably do the face too. Click on the face and that way, you know, it's doing the direction that you want it to go. If you do it this way, then it's going to go in like the 45-degree angle that it's actually at, which is weird. No problem. Please just, yeah, get that stuff in. As long as I know that I've communicated to you, you know, I probably won't flag you, but I still want that stuff in. All right, everybody feeling good? We have some good stuff to work with here. Check out YouTube. Check out those videos. I've got a lot of good stuff in there that may give you some information. I don't think I covered anything like this as far as like doing like the excessive taper and long tunnel effect in there. But that, you know, that might be nice so that you're not getting like this all fake effect here where that's like, oh, it's not as long as I thought it was. It's the first time I've actually tried that. You never know. We learn something every day. I'm still learning too.